Nitro, number 158, also September 21st, 1998.
Wow, another show where we didn't get the advertised main event. It's almost like this happens all the time.
Scott Hall showed up drunk.
Before we get to that, do you know that this
The
year...
show?
Do you know that 1998, I believe it was, one of these years, I'm pretty sure it was 98, Scott Hall wrecked 6 cars.
Wow.
Because he had so many personal issues, and it was just one car crash after another. And so now it's an angle that he's fucked up and drunk, and his life is spiraling out of control, and he shows up at the building with a wrecked car.
Mm-hmm. On the other show, you got Hawk, who has been taken away and bumped and messed up matches and this and that and the other thing, and he also had massive problems at the time.
In neither promotion did they give 2 fucks about any of the talent.
Agreed.
Like, they didn't care one bit if guys lived or died. It's incredible. Let's just kill everybody with chair shots. Oh, you're having serious psychological problems and you're crashing your cars and you're drunk and your life is... Let's turn it into an angle. We don't give a shit.
When you hear that a friend or family member has been in an auto accident, your automatic reaction is to say, oh my God, is he okay?
Right.
When you're in 6 auto accidents and they're so not concerned, they just make a joke out of it? Jesus Christ. So Scott Hall is drunk. He says, my car is wrecked. Doug Dillinger, you must go fix it. We got 3 solid minutes of the Nitro Girls dancing and the announcers flapping their gums. And the ring fills with smoke. The smoke clears. Disciple is lying on the mat, face down, unconscious, in his chaps. There were pants under the chaps, but still.
Thank you.
NWO comes out to retrieve him. The smoke returns, and then Disciple is gone. Buff Bagwell is so distraught about the Disciple disappearing, he climbs the turnbuckles and poses.
Not only that, but like the whole NWO comes down and Hogan's freaking out that his friend is gone. Scott Steiner just walks up, looks in the camera, and flexes a bicep. Like, look at how big my muscles are.
So
it's not that it's just Hogan's friend, it's his disciple.
It's his lifelong buddy.
Oh, well, there's all kinds of terms you could use for relationships in the show. Warrior appears in the rafters. He says one of 2 things, either of which is hilarious. He either says, up here, Speed Racer, or up here, Speed Racer. Like he thought Speed Racer would show up in front of him. Warrior's in the rafters. Disciple is by his side. Hogan cries, give me my disciple back, Warrior. These are quotes.
Yeah, give me my disciple back.
He challenges Warrior to come and fight. Everyone cheers because they want to see the fight. Warrior says, he kneels beside me because he has not yet been instilled with the power of the Warriors. That's a quote. They're ranting about Halloween Havoc. Hogan dares him to fight again, and then it just ends.
Fans were still into this guy. They were still chanting for the Warrior. I could not believe my eyes. Do you know how fast the audience would have turned on this guy in 2017 doing this storyline?
With the Warrior signal.
And they're still into the guy.
I don't know. He's using magic to kidnap men.
Right.
Yeah.
And teleport.
And all kinds of stuff.
I still stick by my claim that it's the jacket that helps him teleport.
It's not the jacket, dude. The smoke rises. Sometimes it wipes guys out. This time it didn't. It's not noxious smoke this time. It's all bullshit.
Really?
And
wrestling?
Speaking of, how many times now, how many weeks has it been that we started the Nitro review and I've said, another stellar match to kick off Nitro?
Well, here's one.
Let's say it again. Another stellar match featuring Barry Darsow against Fit Finlay.
It's 1998.
I love Finlay, but Jesus Christ, Barry Darsow. Even
Smash.
Finlay could not get a good match out of this guy.
Smash is in the opener in 1998. Did we mention Fit Finlay's hair?
It's better.
Then what?
The mullet.
No.
Don't you remember when he had that goofy mullet and the weird outfit?
The buzzed sides, the buzzed back, but then the top is still going out to the sides, so he looks like a tree.
I'm working on that myself
He looks
right
like
now.
Dexter from The Offspring. Same
I
haircut.
gotta look this up now. Here's everything I wrote. They traded holds and strikes for 3 or 4 minutes, and Finlay hit a tombstone for the win.
Boring match, Finlay wins with the tombstone. Way to kick the show off hot. Did I miss anything?
That is true.
We had like 9
Dexter
minutes.
Holland has better hair than Fit Finley did here.
Fair enough.
We had like 10 minutes of recaps.
It is blonde and spiky.
And then up next was Wrath versus Eugene.
Yeah. Nick Dinsmore. For about a second and a half, I got so excited when Nick Dinsmore ran out and they said, oh, he's just going to get squashed by Wrath.
He was so green here.
Yeah.
And he actually got to do a couple of moves, but then Wrath killed him.
He was there to get killed by Wrath and make Wrath look good, and he did a fine job of getting killed by Wrath and making Wrath look good. Wrath won with the Pump Handle Power Slam. An upset.
The Pump Hundle.
That already said.
I think that should be your new move.
Pump Hundle?
Yeah.
Sounds lewd.
It does, really.
Sounds so true.
You want to go back behind the barn and pump Hundle?
To the Pump Handle.
Tell us to dance now.
I don't know.
Dance.
He said, do the Pump Hundle.
No.
He's red now.
I think he's tried the pump Hundle.
Texting Bridget.
Had a Goldberg Page hype video that was the most 1990s thing I may have ever seen.
If Vince asks
Don't you dare.
to Pump Hundle,
Don't you dare.
say fuck no.
Don't you.
What if she texts back,
Craig,
who's Hundle?
Punch that man.
Who's Hundle and why is Vinny pumping?
I hate you.
Is that Handel's
I've
sister?
never hated you more than I hate you now.
Is that Hansel's sister, Hundle?
As in Hansel and Gretel?
Sure. Hundle? Hansel? Hundle?
The fuck are you talking
I
about?
don't
Rick
know, I'm just-
Steiner versus Ron Fuller.
Trying to liven up the show, for God's sakes.
That's what that moment needed.
There was a Goldberg Page hype video. It was silly. Rick Fuller and Rick Steiner. I was very excited for the slobber knocker, and then they attempted to do MMA.
Well, it sucked,
It did.
and Steiner won. And then, if you recall, like a week ago, maybe it was a couple of weeks ago, Rick Steiner did a backstage promo about his brother. And it was the goddamn greatest promo of Rick Steiner's career. One of the best promos I've heard in I don't even know how long. And somebody said, you know what? Rick, like, you need to bark again. So he came out here and he barked and it sucked. This fucking promo was terrible because they made him bark again. Like, when something works, can't you just go with it? This was not an improvement.
I want to talk about Rick Fuller and the part where I couldn't tell he was trying to pull guard or if he just fell down.
I bet he fell down, would be my guess.
Steiner won with a diving bulldog. Cut a bad promo.
Can I just go over all of that?
There was evil cackling.
It's Chucky.
I know. Do we spoil that last week? I forget.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Did we spoil it?
Well, people may not
Fucking
know.
19 years ago.
You know, there's a lot of things people are. I'm sure people know.
Let's not let people know the company died.
I'm sure people know when Goldberg loses.
They may think a turnaround's coming.
People probably don't remember the evil cackling from the summer of 1998.
We all did.
It took us a while. There's a lot of people
Like
listening who
5
didn't watch
minutes.
this before. Hogan and crew came out for a promo.
They probably don't believe us anyway when we say that there's cackling in the arena to set up Chucky the doll showing up on Nitro.
That is
That's
pretty
actually a
ludicrous.
fair point.
Sure, they think
Yeah.
we're full of shit.
That actually is a fair point. Hogan calls out Warrior. Warrior appears at the entranceway, says, "Follow me."
Didn't we just see this 30 minutes earlier?
Yes.
Pretty much. Hogan goes up the aisle. They get to the top of the stage. Now it's smoky. Hogan freezes, but he goes with the smoke. They're in the backstage area playing hide and seek. When Bischoff points and says, "Look!" We go into Hogan's locker room, where the Warrior symbol is painted on the wall and it's on fire. "Watch my back!" Hogan screams.
Seems like a fire hazard, by the way.
Hogan
This
finds
fire.
the disciple lying on the bathroom floor.
Disciples passed out on the bathroom floor.
Probably not the first time.
Not the last.
Probably.
So then somebody standing next to the cameraman
This was so low rent.
fires a fire extinguisher. Were we not supposed to see that?
You could hear it that it was directly.
see it. There's the
and
fire hand.
and there was the hose in the shot.
They needed smoke to rise, and they had no smoke. So I'm sure it's probably fire extinguishers in the ring that make all that smoke come
Sure.
up.
Maybe.
But yeah, when it's right by the camera and you hear somebody set off, I mean, maybe we're supposed to think it's Warrior. I don't know.
You could hear somebody pull the pin.
You could see the hose on camera shooting
it
fire
was
extinguishers
very
everywhere.
bad. Disciple vanishes.
Disciple vanishes. Hogan tried to find Disciple in the mirror. He was not there.
Not yet.
It's coming, dude.
Spoiler alert.
Like next week. All I know is that Larry was so not into this.
What?
Don't say.
And when Disciple vanishes, he just totally deadpan goes, "Did they flush him?"
Oh, God, these shows.
I mean, it's a goddamn good question. He vanished out of the bathroom. There are not that many exits if the main one's blocked.
For some reason, I just had a vision of Warrior standing behind Hogan with the fire extinguisher, letting it off, and then sneaking around and grabbing Disciple and pulling him out.
We
Well,
didn't
what
need
the hell do you think happened? He teleported? I'm sure that's what did happen.
we needed to see Warrior tiptoeing backstage like Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
That would have been better. We had clips of the flock disintegrating last week.
Well, he's got a screwed up ankle and a screwed up bicep, so I don't think he's going to be doing much tiptoeing.
Just tipping.
Limping, maybe.
Then we have the segment the show is most infamous for. Raven and Canyon versus Viano 4 and 5.
Yikes.
Do you know what is amazing about this segment?
That somebody
He's
didn't
still
die.
wrestling?
Well, no, he lived, but I remember this from the time, like vividly. And I watched it again here, and it's, trust me, I mean, it's still horrible. Like, the guy gets dropped right on his head. They go for the combo powerbomb neckbreaker, and I mean, it's hard to tell who is really at fault.
Oh, it was Canyon.
I have had people say it was all Canyon's fault.
He went too late.
Basically, Raven...
Their timing was off. That's indisputable.
Raven starts to go, Canyon's not going, so Raven stops, and then he goes again, and Canyon still doesn't sit down, and Canyon finally sits down. Now, I don't know what the fuck happened here, but the guy got dropped right on his head, and he's almost killed. Got a sprained neck, I guess was the official diagnosis. What's funny is, like, as bad as this was, after about the 9th time that I watched it, it was kind of like, it wasn't that bad. In the sense that, do you know how many times we've seen guys get dropped on their heads in wrestling in like the last 19 years since this took place?
Quite a few.
So many stupid head drops in every company in the world. Like even when John Cena got dropped on his head by Shinsuke Nakamura, like that looked worse than this did. But there was less head dropping in America in the 90s. And so this was like something that people will never forget.
I gained a ton of respect for Raven in this because he was script be damned, and he's keeping his head still. He's having him, telling him not to move.
When they show the replays of this, they do the move. I think the injury happened because the angle is not severe, but Viano's head comes down on Raven's arm, which I think put extra stress on it instead of landing on the mat.
Yeah, the giant powerbomb with Nash that went wrong looked worse than this.
Yeah.
But I mean, clearly this was terrible.
But Raven knew right away it was fucked up.
Yep.
You could tell by his expression. He was talking to the guy instantly. And yes, all he did was cradle the guy's head, put his hand on his chest. He didn't move. He didn't look up. This is not bullshit. And the guy was down, and Raven was on top of him. The ref didn't even bother counting a pin. He just rang the bell. So Canyon gets in. He's concerned. Viano 5, as far as he knows, has just watched his brother die, but he's out there to do a job. So he tries to pick a fight with Canyon.
This man is a professional.
Yes.
A different kind of professional from Raven.
Yes.
Like, God damn, I gotta attack Raven. He goes over and boots Raven in the fucking head as Raven's trying to keep his brother from moving his neck.
Yeah. So Canyon half-heartedly throws him out of the ring. Everyone freezes, and eventually the actual medical people show up, and Raven and Canyon slink away. They do a ton of replays. They go to the announcers, who I swear are silent for like a solid 15, 20 seconds. And then finally they go back to the ring where Viano 4 is now sitting up, which is a great sign. And then he actually walked out of the ring with help.
Can you believe they let that guy walk to the
That's
back after this?
ridiculous.
Are you kidding me?
He should have been backboarded out.
These dumb shits. Fans cheered him. At least he got a pop. This was so dumb.
Well, the good news is he is still alive.
Yeah, I wrestled him afterwards.
Did you?
Yeah.
Saw that. He had a match 2 days ago. So it worked out in the end. Disco Inferno had a cruiserweight title match tonight.
Yeah.
But the championship match was strictly enforced. He had to meet the weight limit. So Disco Inferno is cutting weight.
Yeah, the weight limit is like 220, they claimed.
Sure.
I'm like, 220? Jesus Christ.
Alex Wright comes out, cuts a promo in German, says Americans are stupid and disgusting, and DDP is the most disgusting of them all. He wants Paige to come fight. And Paige accepts. They do a match. Paige sells the whole time, hits the diamond cutter out of nowhere, and wins.
That's a great diamond cutter. He flipped out of a back suplex and then immediately hit the diamond cutter. I popped.
It looked like Alex was out wrestling Paige, but in fact, he was doing exactly what Paige wanted.
That's right.
Alex put himself in position for the diamond cutter. The whole point here was to show that Paige can take a severe beating, and as long as he gets that diamond cutter, he can win, even against Goldberg. So this was a success.
It was a success, but he took a severe beating from Alex Wright.
And Paige cuts a promo. He's talking about kids dreaming about being champion, and the fans are chanting Goldberg, and it's clear they like Goldberg more than him, and he should have wrapped this up and just called it a night, but he has kept on pushing through. Goldberg's undefeated. I've lost a ton. Goldberg shot to the top. I've been working years at this. Crowd just keeps turning on him, and finally he just says Goldberg may feel the bang.
You know, I realized that this couldn't work because Nash was building this guy up for himself, but this should have been Wrath.
Yeah?
If DDP is going to get a shot at Goldberg for the championship at the Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, he's the guy that should have ended Wrath's undefeated streak with the diamond cutter in this match. That would have been a way better story than Alex Wright, the dancing dildo, took him to the limit before he gave him a diamond cutter. I mean, it was kind of neat, but like as a viewer, sort of like, and now you're gonna go face Goldberg.
Well, there's that.
This dancing numbskull put you through the ringer, and then this shit.
Nitro party clips from, this is a quote, a group of guys from Superior, Wisconsin who forgot to include their name. Wow. There were geeks jumping in the pool.
So they did not put the Superior in Superior, Wisconsin.
They were inferior.
Yeah.
They jumped in the pool. They went to Mean Gene's Burgers. They watched TV. They showed Kat getting arrested last week. And then I don't care what you guys say. The first half of this next segment was awesome.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Kat versus Lenny Lane. Kat comes out and says, by law, I am required to warn you. I am a 3-time karate champion, and I can tear you apart with my bare hands. I will give you 5 seconds to not just leave the ring, but to leave the city.
Right.
So Lenny clarifies, I have 5 seconds to leave and not fight you? And Kat says, that's right. And Lenny takes a few steps, and I'm thinking, okay, he's going to step, and Kat will turn his back, and Lenny will jump him. No, Lenny was going to leave. Lenny was going to heed this man's warning. And Kat says, where are you going? And then he says, you're a 3-time karate champion. I'm not an idiot. I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed. How Lenny can ever have a match in this show again, I don't know. But for one night, I laughed and laughed and laughed. So Kat shakes his hand and then drops him with a kick to the throat, and they start doing a match. I was wildly entertained. And then drunk Scott Hall came stumbling down the aisle. He attempted to climb into the ring. Dusty Rhodes comes out to pull him away.
Dusty Rhodes?
Uh-huh. He's speaking to him in his Virgil Runnels voice.
Is he still in the NWO?
As far as I
As far as
know.
we know, yeah.
Huh.
You're throwing your future away. You can't do this. And he takes him backstage. The match is still going on. Kat wins with a roundhouse kick.
I mean, I was impressed that Dusty was able to talk him off the ledge.
Literally.
He is the greatest promo of all time, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And Shad hit his fucking kick for the pin. Sick of this. It sucks.
It's just getting started, Brian.
I know. I can't even believe it. I've never seen someone regress so badly. He was like good in his first ever match ever.
And they got worse.
And he's getting worse
Yeah.
the more he wrestles.
Disco tried to weigh in again. He may wait this time and immediately went over to the water cooler. Severe dehydration going on. More random maniacal cackling after the break.
You look at the fans in the crowd as this is going on.
I can't see that I did.
Bewilderment.
Well, yes.
They have no idea what's going on.
Nor did we when it was going on.
And some people are laughing along with it. It's ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure none of us knew it was Chucky the Doll until Chucky the Doll showed up on the screen.
I think I knew.
He showed Jericho, Ralphus, and the Jerichoholic Ninja at Fall Brawl, ripping off Spinal Tap and not being able to find their way to the ring.
This was the Nitro debut of Ralphus.
So finally they get to the ring, where Jericho calls out his opponent, and out comes a Goldberg imitator. And I thought, hey, it's Gillberg. Then I thought, wait a minute, Gillberg was on Raw.
Right.
Gillberg was a ripoff of a WCW idea. I was stunned. So Jericho beat this fake Gillberg, did a promo, said he had beaten Goldberg, was the rightful world champion. Much to my surprise, the best thing on either show tonight was Saturn and Jerry Flynn.
It's one of those matches where it starts and then I make an assumption, and so I write something in my notes, like this went on forever, blah, blah, blah. And then I have to go back and remove it because I'm stunned by what actually happened. The story of this match...
There was a story in this match?
Yes.
Okay.
Jerry Flynn is a karate expert, and Saturn decided, I am going to beat you at your own game. Saturn kicked the shit out of this guy. Saturn is a guy that does a lot of high-flying moves, so after getting his ass kicked in karate, Jerry Flynn decides, I'm going to beat Saturn at his own game. He does a fucking running pescado dive over the top rope to the floor.
Out of control.
Table set up outside.
Stop right there. There's a table on the floor. Saturn goes to grab it, and Tony explains, hey, that's David Pinzer's table. The ring announcer gets an entire table to himself.
Well, you need a lot of room for all your notes.
All your 3x5 cards?
Yeah, when you're a ring announcer. You gotta set him up like a game of memory.
Maybe he's doing double duty as the bell ringer.
So Saturn goes up top, splash off the post, which actually was really cool looking, but also really safe. Killed him with a DVD for the pin. This was the best match on either show.
Mm-hmm. You left out
Saturn versus Jerry Flynn.
You left out Jerry Flynn getting offense, and he puts Saturn against the post on the outside, throws a kick. Saturn kind of ducks, and he kicks the post. And then
they just keep doing stuff.
They did some more stuff, and then Jerry put Saturn against the post, and Jerry threw a kick, and guess what? He kicked the post again.
He did.
What an idiot.
Clearly,
Craig, if at first you don't succeed,
fail again?
Try again.
I see.
So they did strikes in this match. They did a lot of pro wrestling. They did submission wrestling. They did hardcore stuff for the table, and it was all good. Saturn suplexed him out everywhere. They did the table spot, and Saturn won with the DVD. This was so much fun.
Craig, have you ever lost your keys and you're looking for them and you just can't find them anywhere in the house? And then you're like, I know they've got to be in this room. And you go back in there again, and there they are. This happened to everybody. Well, if you hadn't tried again, you'd have to go get a whole new set of keys.
So you're telling me
first you don't succeed. So you tell me that through the rest of Jerry Flynn's career, he should never throw a kick when the guy's up against the post?
Frankly.
You never know when the guy won't move.
He did it within 30 seconds of each other.
Yeah, you got to try.
Well, he never succeeded, so I guess his keys are still lost.
How about you kick the post and then, I don't know, Saturn goes on offense and attacks the leg?
Well, I mean, that's psychological.
Well, that was their plan.
As a person, you got to keep trying.
I'm still looking for the story.
See, never give up.
Okay, here's what happened, Craig. He kicked the post the first time, and then one of them forgot what to do.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because the next time they did it, he kicked the post, and then Saturn threw his back into the post, and then threw his head into the post.
So my guess is Saturn forgot what to do the first time he kicked the post.
Okay. They were in his hometown, so he got to pull out the table, and he got to get the big Duke over Jerry here.
Yes, in WCW, the hometown hero got a win. It was all downhill after that. The last hour or so of the show was so bad.
Yep.
Jericho did a commercial.
Well, no. We had Disco versus Kidman coming up. That was good. Am I the only one?
We'll get to it.
Wow.
Jericho did a commercial
really
for his t-shirt. It was a PSA-style promo about the dangers of Jerichoism. Steiner and Bagwell did a promo. At least the stupid doctor is gone.
This promo absolutely fucking sucked, though.
Yes.
And then...
jokes about a baseball game from 12 years ago at this point.
He calls out Bret Hart. Mm-hmm. Bret limps out, and they proceed to beat his ass. And who should make the save for Bret Hart but Sting?
Yeah.
Do you remember how this started? It started because Bret Hart was a heel, and he was lying that he was friends with Sting, and meanwhile he was screwing and beating up Sting at every turn. They've decided you fans are so stupid that you're going to forget that, and so the rest of the story is they're really friends. I'm the only one.
That's what happened.
I'm the only one. This was horseshit.
I can't keep track of all the stupidity. I did like, so Sting runs out to save Brett. Steiner and Bagwell go to flee. Rick Steiner comes out to attack Scott Steiner, and when danger is present, Buff Bagwell sets an Olympic time for the 100-yard dash. You've never seen a man this big run so fast as he ran backstage. So we had Disco Inferno versus Kidman. Now, in a vacuum, as a pro wrestling match, it was pretty dang good. But the story is, Disco has been cutting weight all day. Now he's in there, an hour later, he's exhausted. He's on fumes. He's got nothing left.
It's a great story.
Kidman is the small, underdog, babyface cruiserweight champion in his first defense. And his first defense is, he can't beat this guy who has nothing left.
Well, it's still a severe weight differential here, Vinny. He's still fighting a larger man.
Who's asleep.
Which, by the way, can I note that Disco Inferno in a fake sport in 1998 understood how much a weight cut drains you and keeps you from performing at your best? And these fucking idiots in mixed martial arts are still killing themselves in 2017? Am I going to have somebody come up to me in 5 years and go, we didn't understand the danger of weight cuts back in 1998. It's only been the last couple of years. Because that's bullshit.
So Kidman fights and fights and fights, and nothing he can do can beat this exhausted, tired, empty husk of a man.
But he got his second wind.
Shivani notes, quote, amazingly, this match is still going on.
Yeah.
Goes on and on. Lodi comes out with signs. He misses Raven. He needs the flock. Kidman, because he's not a big enough geek, is distracted by this. Disco hits a pile driver. Now Disco's firing up and making a comeback. Who did Kidman piss off?
Nobody, dude. He won the match.
Took him a long time.
They're telling a story here, and I think they are turning Disco babyface. The way they put him over at the end for how hard he tried.
He's been a babyface for like a year.
I'm not sure about that. No, because he was with the dancing dildos, and they were heels.
Did you notice Disco doing the 5-knuckle shuffle in this match?
He did.
He did a disco dance and a 5-knuckle shuffle. Kidman hit the You Can't Powerbomb Kidman, and finally the sitting spine buster and the shooting star press for the win.
I enjoyed this match.
The evil cackling laughed at Disco.
Now, I'm not going to lie about this next segment. I warned you guys. The moment that Chavo got on that fucking stick horse, I fast-forwarded through the entire match. I don't know what happened. This can just fuck off. This is what broke me.
Oh, what happened?
I will never watch the stick horse. Do you hear me?
Well, you chose well. And that's not because of the stick horse.
You know what? I got to say this. Between these two combatants, Conan and Chavo Guerrero was a superior athlete this week and actually carried this match.
Okay. Carried it to what?
Carried it to a match.
They had a fucking... First of all, Conan comes out. Did I mention how sick I am of Conan's pre-match spiel? It's the exact same thing every week.
Yes.
There's zero creativity to it.
That's everyone's spiel. Like DX has a different spiel every week. It's the exact same one every week. Everyone
true.
uses
He's got
the
a
same.
point.
Scott Hall's survey, they're all the same.
That's true. I don't know why Conan's bothers me
I
so
don't
much.
either. It's baffling.
Maybe it's because I know Conan's going to wrestle. And that's bad news, too. Because the match was worse.
If he would keep his hands away from his crotch, I think I would...
Yeah, because that's never gotten a wrestler over before.
That's true.
So...
That was big back then. Yanking on your Johnson.
Craig, you want to tell him?
I don't think he's... I think he just... Vinny, continue.
So this
Craig
match
to tell me.
just goes for hours and hours and
Thank
hours.
God I skipped it.
Legit.
I wrote seemed to go hours from that point.
Conan, by the way, did you know that he was in bad shape, and the longer a match went, the more tired he got?
He got blowed up.
He was more tired in real life here than Disco was pretending to be in the prior match.
He was as tired as I was when I was watching this.
Goes on and on. 8.5 minutes plus a commercial break. So like 12 minutes in the building. It goes on and on. Finally, every Conan match ends the same too. Leapfrog, spin kick, X Factor Tequila Sunrise.
Except he was too tired.
He was too tired to do the leapfrog. So he just does the spin kick, does the X Factor, and he just lies there and lies there and lies there, huffing and puffing. And he gets up and he does this move every fucking week. And it was his idea to do the move, so he must know how to do it.
No.
He grabs the arm and he grabs the foot and he does the little spin around and he's just lost. And I don't know if he's too tired to do the move or if he's if his in exhaustion he's forgotten the steps or if or if Child was resisting. But it took him a few tries to get the Tequila Sunrise on and finally the match ended. Miserable.
Kind of sad I missed it now. Not really.
Eric Bischoff comes out with a promo with Liz, who was smoking hot.
Did I mention last week that she looked good in chaps?
I'm fine with this outfit. How is she hotter in 1998 than she
Can we
was in
talk about
1988?
this promo for crying out loud?
I don't want to.
The Ric Flair promo?
It's from last week.
What are you talking about?
The Ric Flair promo, where he drops 7,000 inside references?
I apologize.
Dude, this promo... Okay, so last week's promo was better because of the crowd, but as a promo, this promo was so great.
If you're an insider.
Well, I am.
There you go.
Okay, fair. All right.
He's got me there, Vince.
So he starts talking about the Horsemen. They're not dead. They're back. And he starts putting the Horsemen over one at a time. And it was funny because they were in Boston. And he's talking about Mongo, the football player. And Mongo, as a football player, beat the holy hell out of Boston's team, so they all booed him. Keeps on going through. Malenko's this tough guy. Benoit's a tough guy. Arn's my best friend. Goes forever. Goes into Bischoff and says, I'd hit you, but I don't have another $2 million. So he's broke now, I guess. Goes to the story.
Yeah, he actually admits it during the show. Bischoff said, you didn't save your money, did you, Rick? And Rick's like, no, I spent it all, and I'm awesome. He doesn't give a shit.
Says he wanted to go see Reed win a national wrestling tournament, and he did win. Bischoff wasn't going to let him go, so he went anyway, and then Reed learned from a neighbor Flair had been fired.
Hey, he explained it all to you.
He's going on and on and on, and he's not dropping inside terms. He's being very creepy and lecherous toward Liz.
Well, yeah, he's Ric Flair.
I'm trying to figure out why you're supposed to cheer for the dirty old man. And
because he's Ric Flair.
He makes a move for her, and thankfully she scurried for safety behind Bischoff.
In what universe is this different? I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying, what the fuck do you expect? Ric Flair's in the ring with Liz and Chaps. Like, what in the world do you expect out of the guy?
I don't know. And finally, Flair says, we'll be in Norfolk next week, and Bischoff says, no, you won't. And they hold four fingers in his face. And
I thought this goddamn promo was absolutely unbelievable. Flair was so great. Doug Dillinger was great. Like, Doug Dillinger was supposed to stop the Horsemen from getting in the ring, and they had a long stare down, and then Doug Dillinger let him pass, and everybody goes crazy. Gets in there, just him and Bischoff going back and forth. It was so good. This was the best thing on either show.
And Rick with the best line, Space Mountain's the oldest ride in the park. Still got the longest line.
I don't know what that had to do with anything, but it was a great line.
That was towards Liz.
It was great.
The NWO team in the main event is supposed to be Scott Hall.
No, it's supposed to be a singles match.
It was?
Nash versus Hall.
It was?
I'm almost positive.
I could have sworn they said it would be a tag match. Well, here's what happened.
It doesn't matter.
It's time for the main event. The first man to walk through the curtain is Stevie Ray. I almost threw up. I do not want to watch a Stevie Ray match, and the Giant is with him. So Buffer introduces Stevie Ray and then says Giant filling in for Scott Hall.
Keep that in mind. They brought in Buffer for this.
About him every week.
Hey, he's there for everyone.
He introduced Giant as the master of the Power Slam, a move I don't think he has ever used. Nash and Luger come out. The most hysterically elaborate pyro you ever saw. It just goes on and on and on. And they turn, they look at each other, they start laughing. They will go down to the ring. It's not like Nash is fast when he makes his entrance. He gets down to ringside, the pyro is still going off.
At one point, they both turned around in awe of the pyro going off behind them.
It goes on and on and on.
If you only knew how much money they spent on that, too.
So
Nash wouldn't be laughing if he knew how much money they spent on that pyro.
Lex Luger, and maybe the worst decision of his career, was growing a Hulk Hogan mustache.
Not a good look.
No.
Not even on Hogan.
He kept trying and then eradicating his facial hair. Like, I'm going to try something really fucked up this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to grow a Fu Manchu. That'll fit with the Lex Luger character.
So Lex and Stevie wrestle for 2 minutes, and it's just awful. And here comes drunk Scott Hall again. The match just stops. Everyone looks at him, and he gets in the ring. And
Well, first he goes to the announcers, and he says, listen, there's no alcohol policy here in WCW.
Obviously.
Oh, that's
I'm
right.
like,
Yeah.
Let's cool, you idiots. Maybe you should make one. He says, my back hurts. I've carried this lump Nash my entire career. I'm going to go show Nash how tough I am. Keep in mind the match has already started with Stevie Ray and Giant versus Nash and Luger. This fucking guy stumbles down to the ring all drunk, and they let him replace Stevie Ray in storyline.
I guess. He just got in the ring.
But they started working, and the ref's right there.
Well, no, he's not.
Stevie just got out.
No, he is not right there because Scott Hall grabbed him and threw him out of the ring.
Yeah, but then he got back in. Did he not? My match.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
All I know is Scott Hall, who's not a participant in the match, lays out the referee. Kevin Nash then asks for a tag. Hall throws a punch. Nash dodges, which is comedy in and of itself. And Hall falls down. This goes on a while, and Hall falls out of the ring. Lex chases Giant away with a chair. Hall's calling out Nash. Nash cuts a promo, says, we can fight. I won't fight for free. We'll fight at Halloween Havoc. And announcers talk about how sad all of this is. In what universe was any of this entertaining for a second? Was it supposed to be funny?
I'm pretty sure in infinite universes there still wasn't one where this was any good.
I don't know if it was supposed to be funny or if I was supposed to just be curious to see if a drunk guy can fight or what. I don't understand any...
I think it was supposed to be Crash TV that you couldn't turn the channel because there was a drunk guy in the ring.
Well, it had the opposite effect. I wanted to turn the channel very badly.
Well, everyone did. To build up a match with Nash and Hall.
At one point, Nash yelled at Hall, I've lost my best friend.
And Hall goes, I've lost everything I ever had. Like, what the fuck's happening here? Can you guys get off my damn TV?
So, announcers are talking about how sad this all is. And I'm about to hit close in the window. And I look down and there's 3 minutes of TV time left.
Yes, there is.
I thought, are these guys just going to sit here and talk for 3 minutes? What's going on?
This last segment was so rushed. Hogan and Bischoff came out, and
Exactly.
Hogan only got in one pose.
It's that danger zone where I don't want to see another segment, but if you're going to do another segment, it better go more than 3 minutes.
Sure.
So Hogan and Bischoff come out. They demand Warrior. Warrior comes out on stage and says, Hogan says, I'll prove you're canary yellow. And then...
Hogan is such a cartoon.
Yeah.
He's using terms from the fucking 50s. Bugs Bunny. I'm going to prove you're yellow, brother.
So, as Hogan's ranting, Disciple comes out like right behind Warrior, so Hogan can't see him from where he is.
No, I think Hogan was supposed to see him and think that Disciple had recovered and was about to jump Warrior from behind.
That's possible. That's possible. Regardless, Disciple comes out and stands right behind Warrior. Then he stands right beside him, and then he turns around to reveal the OWN logo on his jacket. What are you doing? You're gonna get yours, Warrior.
Hogan said, and I quote, "What's up with that?" That's what he said.
He did. It's true. He did.
What's up with that? Said Hulk Hogan.
So, for those of you keeping score at home, the storyline here is that Warrior, to pick a fight with Hulk Hogan, has found his partner, Disciple, and through humiliation and abuse, seduced him to stand at his side instead.
He's David Koresh.
That's one way to look at it.
Well, yeah, that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, whatever he had that caused that guy to pass out in the bathroom must have been some good shit.
Disciple is now standing there of his own free will. So apparently he enjoys all this.
Well, we don't know if he's drugged right now. I mean, he's there.
And if he's drugged, does he like it?
We don't know his state of mind at the moment. But yeah, he's got a new disciple, ironically, in the Disciple.
That's right.
Look at that. Should close here by noting that this was the 1-year anniversary of the debut of the current WCW World Heavyweight Champion Goldberg. It was celebrated by him not even being on the show.
That's right.
Well, you can't win them all.
Why are you looking at me? I didn't book it.
You know, the death of WCW, everybody, is available right now at Amazon.com. And in fact, if you go to Amazon.com or Audible and do the Audible free trial. You get 2 free books. You can read Death of WCW for free. Did you know that?
I did.
Hardcover, soft cover, Kindle versions. They're all available at Amazon.com, so head up there and check it out. If you buy the book, I promise I'll keep doing these shows. Otherwise, I can't promise anything because I'm just so pissed off. That's the show, everybody. We're back on Thursday with NXT and Lucha Underground. You can still send in your request for a replacement for Lucha Underground when that show ends. Brian at WrestlingObserver.com is the email, so do that. And that's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.